and welcome to this episode of Ways to Change the Workplace with myself, Prina Shah. I love what I do. I'm a global leadership coach, a consultant, a trainer, a keynote speaker, a podcaster. I help you to develop your leaders, your teams, and I help you to optimize your organizational cultures. I'm here to help you find ways to change your workplace. Why? Because we spend more time in our waking day at work than we do with our loved ones. It has to be a good place to be. So in this podcast, you can expect a mix of interviews with amazing thought leaders and then some solo episodes from myself as well. Get ready!
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of the Ways to Change Your Workplace podcast with myself, Prina Shah. And I have a very important guest, my youngest, and someone who I love. And I've never said that before on my podcast. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my 16-year-old niece, whose name is Saanvi Savla. And she has been doing work experience with me for a week. And the purpose of this podcast today is for me to interview Saanvi to see how she's done with her work experience, what she's learned, what she's really not enjoyed, and everything in between. Saanvi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you.
I'm excited to be here as well.
Thank you so much. So Saanvi, I've got some questions for you. And for our audience, I've sent Saanvi some questions to think about beforehand. So, Saanvi, do you want to say anything before we begin? How are you?
I'm good. Just that it was really fun. Also, because I was spending the week with you and I know you so well. So I was able to be comfortable as well this week.
I'm glad.
Not like meeting a random stranger.
Yeah. I'm glad you felt comfortable. We've had some amazing laughs. We've had some serious conversations and everything in between. Now, Saanvi, my first question to you, should we go into it?
Sure.
Saanvi, can you tell me what your top 3 highlights for the week have been and why?
My first one I just mentioned is spending it with you. And then I got to sleep over as well, which was really fun. Yes. And I spent some time with Masa.
Yes.
So then it was just really comfortable for me and we could talk a lot, so it wasn't really awkward. Like you just tell me to do something and then I just do it. But like I could then talk to you as well about my opinions and what I think about that. As well. So it just made it easier.
Right.
Yeah. Also, going places, you go a lot of places in your job, and that is really cool. We went to like Murdoch University, we went to the Mellow House, we did Zoom calls, we went just today out for lunch. I had oysters. I love oysters.
A 16-year-old who likes oysters. Can we just stop and appreciate Saanvi for now for that statement first off? Yes.
I like food.
Yes.
All but one, but yeah.
My niece.
Yeah.
So it's been a super varied week
and meeting people. Meeting a lot of people.
We've met so many people. So Saanvi, this is my normal life, so a normal 9-to-5 work life of someone who works in like, I'll say a normal job.
Yeah.
They go to their office every day and I pretty much meet the same people generally every day.
Yeah.
So being my own boss, I get to do what I want, choose when I want to do it and with who I want to do it as well. So I can manage my own time that way. And time that way is a different concept, as you've seen as well. Do you have any comments on that in terms of the concept of time and the time that we've been together this week?
You can also choose your own free time because you're your own boss.
Yep.
So you can decide when you want free time and then you can allocate time going to work and then when you have meetings and you go places, so you don't have someone above you like controlling everything you do.
Exactly, which is what I love. So you've picked up loads. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the beautiful things that you've enjoyed. And Saanvi, can I just say, I have really enjoyed this whole week with you. And we've made memories for life. So thank you.
It's been brilliant. See you again soon anyway.
Totally. Yeah. But to have that one-to-one time with you, it's been super special, honestly. So now, with good also comes boring and bad and just not so great. There's yin and yang with everything, right? So can you share at least 2 things with me that you've least enjoyed? And can you explain why?
one thing relating to going places, the long drives.
Oh, yes.
That's really annoying. Also, because you work from home, so it's more like you going to people's places instead of them coming to you. And I have motion sickness.
Oh, yeah.
Boats, plane, car does not go well with me. I can't go on roller coasters. I can't like do any of that stuff. So especially the long drives bug me. I try and avoid them as much as I can.
Yeah.
But we've had really good talks on those drives.
Oh my gosh.
But the heat as well.
Oh, it's been a stinking hot week in Perth this week.
Yes. We just had bushfires last week as well. I had to evacuate.
Yes. So much has been happening.
Yeah.
So backtracking back to the long drive, Saanvi, that is a part of my life. Absolutely so. And with that, I have to be super organized. So at the beginning of the week, you saw I printed off my whole schedule, my whole calendar. And in my schedule, I also have drive.
Yes,
yeah.
Drive time.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
It does. Because you can't predict the traffic either.
Yes.
As we know at the moment. So you've shared driving is one pain point. Any other pain points?
Another one, I guess the long discussions that we've had in like meetings and workshops sometimes, because I lose focus a lot. So it's like if someone's going like for such a long time, it's like I give up. Leave me alone. And sometimes I'd zone out, but then I'd come back, then I'd zone out. Also because some of the stuff that you're talking about, I don't really understand within a workplace because I haven't experienced most of the stuff as much. So I only know a little bit about it. Some of the meetings are building off prior meetings as well. So you're already talking about something you've already discussed. So I'm like, what? Like at Murdoch, I was just sitting there eating my cheese toasty while you guys were like talking. I was like, yep. Nope.
I know. We went deep into detail.
Yeah.
And so that example, for example, we were supposed to meet for how long and what happened?
Yes. The meeting was supposed to be half an hour and it turned into an hour and a half.
Right? So time is something else as well. Yeah, tripled. Imagine that. Yeah. So you talked about sometimes losing focus as well, and sometimes things just go on and on and on. And that is totally the case in the work world and in your school life as well. You've experienced that. And that's something that all of us have to deal with. So my question to you, my big question that you don't have to answer right now, I'm writing it in your report as well. So you are amazing. So in the car, you said, like in those long drives, we've had big ethical debates. I've been sharing with Saanvi insights into the workplace and why some people are not happy at work or, you know, the future of work and how, say, Department of Health are a client of mine and how they're going to be impacted by the upcoming hot summer, for example, the aging crisis and what that actually means for different industries. We've gone deep diving into that. And you have
COVID as well.
COVID, exactly, the impact on the Department of Health and COVID. My gosh, yeah, something else. So we've had lots of big ethical discussions, haven't we? So you're a big critical thinker in that respect. And does your brain feel like you've taken in a lot in that respect this week?
Yes.
Good. I'm happy.
Different perspectives as well, because we're like different people.
Yes.
So I get your thinking, and then you get my thinking.
Yes.
And then we talk about that.
Yep. And the importance of different perspectives and having that diversity of thought is just, that's immense. And if you take anything away with you, then have that. Yeah, totally. Okay. And oh my gosh, long drives. That's my world. Have a bottle of water ready. Make sure you go to the bathroom. All of those things,
Yeah, you don't want to let loose in the car.
No way, because there's no opportunity otherwise as well, Totally. So now, Saanvi, I'm going to lead to the next question, which is like the big question. And I've been asking you big questions all week, and you've been taking them really well, and you've been giving me big questions as well. You've been asking me them back. So can I ask you, overall this week, what have your top takeaways been?
I'd say the first ones, which has been like the common theme of our week, relationships. Yes.
Tell me.
Having ties with people everywhere. You never know when you're going to meet them. And it can come in handy sometimes, like in the business world or in any world, like literally even if you're trying to get a job and you're like, oh, I know that person. Yeah. That can help a lot. And just building trust between the people as well. And just so they just generally like you as a person. Yeah. And you like them.
Yeah.
And it's come up so many times. Like the workshop we had yesterday one of the ladies, one of your like clients,
Yes.
learning in the workshop, she just knew people that we knew, and we were like, hold on a second, small world.
Right?
And another guy, he said he knew my mom.
Right?
So I was like, what?
Yeah. The power of connections is something else. Really
Yes.
important.
Mm.
Yeah. What
Mhm.
else have you? What's another takeaway for you?
The pros and cons of having your own business.
Tell
We
me.
talked about it in
Yeah.
the induction at the start, like, because people, I mean, having your own business, like, you know, when you're like little, you see these TV shows and it's also always like the stereotype, I go to work, sit in an office, come back. It's like entrepreneurs, they have their own business and it's pretty cool, but then there's also bad sides to it. So like you pick your own free time, which is like amazing. We've had so much free time with each other this week.
It's been
as well.
amazing. Yep.
But then there's also things like if you get sick,
Uh-huh.
there's no one to like do the work. You have to. So then you have to take sick leave. That backs up your whole schedule and that messes that up as well. But then you get to travel a lot and see you're in control of what you do in your business.
Yeah.
And you're your own boss.
Yeah.
You can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. Give and take, isn't it? And I like that
Yeah.
you went to the pros and cons thinking. So you've really been listening and taking things in as well. So you can imagine, say yesterday, both of us had to deliver that big training session for a big client yesterday, yeah?
Yeah.
Imagine if I was sick.
Yeah, then you would have to like reschedule as well, which could take like forever.
And that's all of their diaries as well. How impossible would that be? So that flow-on effect to my clients is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. You understand that perspective?
And again, with COVID today, like some people cancelled on us.
Yes, right? So you just don't know. Any other big takeaways, Saanvi? These are huge.
I do have one more. You can learn from both your failures and your successes. Because, you know, people always say that don't look at failure as a bad thing. You can learn from it, but you can also learn from your successes. So when you succeed in something, you can think about, okay, what did I do to succeed? What have I done differently than normal that might have helped me succeed it better? Then you can use that in when you're trying to pursue your future goals as well. So it's not just the failure. So you look at both sides or all the perspectives. That's
a really interesting one because we do tend to focus on the failure and, you know, what's the lesson from this failure? Yes. And you're getting philosophical on me now. Come on, let's do this. Let's talk. So from a philosophical perspective or that deeper thinking perspective, often when we succeed, we jump to the next thing. Yeah. We jump to the next thing without actually pausing and taking stock of what did I learn? Why was that successful? How can I potentially replicate it or even, you know, learn from it and expand upon it?
And it can only help you
get bigger and better.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lesson for me. Because I do work fast, as you've seen, and I just move from one thing to another sometimes. So I need to stop and take a breath. And one of the things that I do, as you know, to stop is self-coaching. Do you do this?
Yes, you gave me one for my birthday last year. They're actually really helpful.
Yeah?
Yeah, and when you just like sit down and the fact that you're writing it as well, it just stays in there better and helps you realize it more.
Excellent. So a 16-year-old who does self-coaching. Check that out, world.
With the help of your book.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Because there's guided questions in there which get you to think, yeah? Good. Do you have any other takeaways?
Those are the main three.
Main ones? Cool. Happy? Now, before I ask you my big final question, is there anything else that you want to state? Anything we've forgotten?
I guess because you're like, you have your own business, but for me, I've been leaning towards like very different other things like architecture and doctor and therapist, which is a bit similar. But the point of this work experience thing for school was to go somewhere where you want to that will count to your future. Like my friend who wants to be a chef, she went to the Ashby. Which is very helpful for that. Yeah, a restaurant. I went somewhere a bit different, which I guess this is not really related to being a doctor, but I've still learned some things from it. So you can learn things from anywhere.
Yes. And what we call that is transferable skills, right? So what you learn here. So let's imagine a doctor often, Saanvi, they work as their own bosses. So yes, you will work in a surgery, but you've got your schedule. You
Yeah.
manage your own time.
That's true.
You've got your clients. So yes, like with a client,
there's ties with everything.
right? You have to listen to your clients. Then you can diagnose and whatever.
Yeah.
So all of the stuff that I do that you've picked up,
Mm.
you can completely see is transferable to even an architect. You know, so you've been in what I call business development meetings or consulting meetings with me, and Saanvi sat there and she's listened. So even as an architect, if you go down that road, you have to listen to your client's needs.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all of that kind of stuff, completely transferable. And whatever you end up doing, whether you go into the traditional kind of 9-to-5 employment road or you're your own boss, I hope that this has given you experience to show you even workplace stuff, because we've actually gone into workplaces, haven't we, to listen from the workers. And my God, did we listen from the workers yesterday. So yesterday, Saanvi helped me facilitate a session on leading change with teams. And we won't say who the client was.
Yeah.
Okay. But Saanvi heard the honest perspective from workers on the ground of the pros and cons of how change is managed in a workplace. Is there anything you want to speak to that? Or any lessons from yesterday's session?
That change can affect people differently.
Hello. Thank you. And we need to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Right? Good. Now, Saanvi, are you ready for the final question? Now, Saanvi Savla, my youngest interviewee, if I was to hand you a magic wand and say what is one way that you would change the way of the workplace, what would it be?
For everyone to be heard.
And again,
for everyone to be heard.
How frigging important is that? Saanvi, why do you say that?
Well, because first of all, it's not only beneficial to that person being heard, but it can be beneficial to who's listening to them, like in a workplace, because their suggestions might be helpful for the workplace, and then they also feel valued, which then creates more motivation for them. They can get better work done. So everyone just thrives, and everyone, like, you know, the right to speech. Yeah, the right to be able to talk about your own opinions and stuff, that's very important, both internally and externally for a person.
So damn true. Saanvi, let's say, where did this come from? Do you feel that people might not be feeling heard in the workplace?
Yes, and I also think that happens everywhere, especially with children. People are like, oh, children don't know that much. They don't have enough experience and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't know that.
That's a judgment.
And I guess, like, yeah, it's a judgment. There are many things that one would want to change as well, but I feel like this is the most important because it can also be a starting point for all the others.
Oh, Saanvi,
it's not fair when people are silenced. It's like, who gives you the right? It's like when you silence someone, it's like you're physically putting tape on their mouth, which is obviously not something you would do, but that's basically what you're doing. Well. It's wrong.
Yeah, completely. So
I'm against injustice.
Damn right, and I really hear that. And it's so important for people to be heard.
Yeah.
Saanvi, I have had the best time with you this week. I cannot thank you. I love you. Can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
And in the future, if you are free and I'm doing stuff, I'd love for you to join me.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we've had the best time. And that is it for this podcast. Watch out for Saanvi Savla, the world. She might be a doctor in the future. She might be an architect. She might be a therapist, or she might be completely something else. But whatever Saanvi's going to do, she's going to be brilliant at it. That I know.
Thank you.
I love you.
You too.
The end.
Bye.
Bye-bye. If you like this episode, check out the show notes and sign up to my newsletter. That will help your workplace to be less shitty. It's full of novel ideas, good food for thought. And if you like this episode, pass it on to at least 2 people who will benefit. That's your good deed done for the day. Also, remember to subscribe to the Ways to Change Your Workplace podcast via your podcast provider, and I will see you in the next episode.